Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com, here with another financial video. This one is going to be assessing the financial impact of the Duel Deck Anthologies, which is going to contain a bunch of different decks from the past Duel Deck. So it's going to contain the Elves versus Goblins, Chandra versus Jace, Divine versus Demonic, and Garruk versus Liliana. So you get the 6 decks in one big box here. And the Wizards is actually just put out a video explaining what it is, a little 45-second video of comes in this box right here, and then it comes in each one of these decks here. You can see has its own little different deck box. But as you know, these looks like they're Ultra Pro deck boxes, so they're pretty flimsy, pretty meh. The box looks kind of cool. So far, the product is a pretty sweet product. I got to give it to Wizards that they're going to do this. That they're going to release a whole box set. I kind of like these collector boxes, but I'm just going to rate the kind of financial value of this box to see if it's actually going to be worth its $100 price tag, and if anyone but collectors is going to want to pick it up. So I went ahead and loaded all of these into Goldfish and to see their values. So this is the Elves versus Goblins Duel Deck. And it runs at $43 for the entire price, but that is including a ton of bulk here. You can see that everything, basically, as far as creatures is concerned, is pretty much bulk. This is an Elf versus Goblin. This is Liliana versus Garruk. So the little chase cards you do get in Liliana versus Garruk would be the Garruk Wildspeak and the Garruk, and then the Liliana Vess. So and that's kind of cool that this card will be in Standard, so at least you'll get one card out of Standard if you buy this. I'm thinking that most people are going to just want to buy this box set and keep it for the collector value because, again, there's not much in as far as value in these decks. This one's actually a little bit better than most because the 2 Planeswalkers are actually above $5, but very few cards above $3. Most are under the $3 mark, like you have $1.50 Rancors and $1.50 Harmonizes. The next deck is going to be the Demonic versus the Demon versus, or Demonic versus Angelic. And it's really one card in here that is holding the value of this entire deck, which is Demonic Tutor. So that's cool that Demonic Tutor, this will give kind of a price cap for Demonic Tutor. It'll allow more to go into circulation. Basically, every EDH deck wants a Demonic Tutor. If you're running black, this is not included in every Commander deck. I actually think this card should be banned in Commander, as Commander is all about having a bunch of one-of cards. So if you play a ton of Tutors, it's like adding multiple copies of that card in your Commander deck, and then it just becomes the same game over and over. But that's just my own opinion about Commander. I really would, if I was in control of Commander, I would ban a bunch of the Tutors. So then in this deck again, you have Akrama, Angel of Wrath. I do believe Akrama was just printed in no, it wasn't. I thought for some reason it was in Conspiracy, but maybe that was another card that I'm thinking of. But anyway, so Akrama's in here at $7.50. Between just the Demonic Tutor and the Akrama, there's really nothing worth it in this entire box. So then on to the Jace versus Chandra. This one is pretty much same thing. There's going to be a couple of chase cards just in Ancestral Vision and in Jace Beleren. But again, the rest of the entire box is full of a lot of bulk stuff. You have a Chandra Nalar at around $4, and then everything else. I think there was a Daze in this one. So Daze around $3. But other than that, Fire Blast, Counterspells, sure. But again, every time a product like this gets printed, it's going to dilute the value of these cards. And I would expect to be losing at least 50% value as soon as this deck. The only thing that actually this deck has going for it, or this Duel Deck Anthologies has going for it, is that most people probably will want to keep the cards together and not trade any of them. So it really is just a collector set. There's going to be no reason to buy this outside of collector value. I don't think if you take away the mass bulk that you even make the $100 price tag. In the Elf vs. Goblin, you get 2 Imperious Perfects. You also get a Goblin War Chief, which has been printed a bazillion times, and Goblin Ringleader, but nothing else really too flashy. So if you take up all the cards above $5, I believe that you're going to be under the $100 price tag. by quite a bit, and then the rest of this bulk is just that. It's really, really bulky cards. It's hard as far as a financial aspect to actually resell these or trade these to actually get your value back for $100. So if you're looking to buy this box set as an investment, I don't know if it's quite going to be there, because we don't know how many of these are going to be printed. Recently, all the dual decks have been available at Walmart, and yesterday I actually went into Walmart and they had the event decks, and I thought that was something that Wizards was not going to do, was put event decks in Target or Walmart. I thought event decks were specifically supposed to be for your local game stores, a little bit of giving back to your local game store, and they had them because you could buy them at your local game store and play in that Friday Night Magic. That was the whole point to event decks, is a deck that was ready there if you didn't have a deck, if you're a new player and wanted a competitive deck, and now they are at Walmart. So the event deck, especially the latest Mardu event deck that I reviewed recently, I would even say the value of that deck is going to go even down even more as the Walmart and Target packs of these get opened and just influxes the entire Magic community with even more of those cards and whatnot. And I expect this to kind of do the same. Yes, most of these will be kept in their box sets, but a few of them are going to go into circulation of vendors are going to open a few of these, I'm sure, because they're getting $200 worth of cards for $100, so 50, 40, so I say $160 worth of cards around there but then you have to take the bulk out. Again, it's like $100 worth of cards if you take all the bulk out. So not too impressed with this at the $100 price tag. I think is a pretty steep for this deck. It probably should have been around $75. And I don't know, besides the hardcore collectors, I really don't know who's going to pick this up for $100 is quite the investment. And if you compare it to other products in the past for $100, like there was the From the Vault, not the From the Vaults, it was the Commander's Arsenal and other things like, I thought there was one other big product that they released that was expensive besides the Modern Event deck, but maybe not. So anyway, this is a sign to come, and that's, I guess, what I want to finish this video off with investing in bulk. Like, I used to love to pick up bulk uncommons and commons as a way to ditch them and actually make money, but it seems like Wizards in the past few years has really sent out the signals that they're going to keep commons and uncommons very, very common and uncommon, and by doing so, I mean, and how they're going to do that is they're going to reprint the crap out of them in these sealed products like event decks, like the commanders and the dual decks and whatnot. So I don't know if even picking up the commons and uncommons is such a great idea. I'm sitting on I would say about 40 Gitaxian probes right now, and they're sitting around like $2.25. And it was something I was going to wait till like $3-4 for a common. I'm just going to load them right now. Get all my Gitaxian probes I'm just going to sell as soon as possible. I really feel that Modern Masters 2 is really on the horizon. We still do have that Las Vegas event, or it's going to be a Grand Prix in Las Vegas around, I believe, the end of May or early June. I'll have to look at the exact date. And it says unspecified format. That is most likely going to be Modern Masters 2. It has not been announced, so this is just pure speculation on my end. And I really think that they are going to go the route of Zendikar, Innistrad, Scars and Mirrodin. Probably, I don't think the Return to Ravnica block will quite be in the Modern Masters 2. I think that'd be way too soon for it, but you can expect to see Innistrad, Scars and Mirrodin, the M10 set, and above. So anything above M10 and Zendikar will be printed in Oblivion in Modern Masters 2. It has yet to see if Modern Masters 1 will be incorporated with it, but that means cards like Pyromancer's Ascension, and I believe Bloodman was M10, so that can be reprinted again in Modern Masters 2, maybe not. We have just a lot of the staples out of the Pyromancer's Ascension and Splinter Twin deck will be reprinted. I'm sure they're going to try to go with those type of themes, maybe a Splinter Twin type theme in Modern Masters 2, even though they had that in Modern Masters 1. But you do have a Pyromancer's Ascension type theme, maybe not quite a Storm theme because Grape Shot's out, but at least a Pyromancer's Ascension theme. And I think we're going to see a ton of reprints, especially to get that price of Liliana down for Modern to be accessible again. So my whole point of this is it's a really, really awkward time for Magic the Gathering when Wizards has shown us time and time again they are not afraid to reprint like crazy, especially people that sat on these dual decks thinking they're going to continue to rise in value. Some of these I thought were quite expensive, just the actual dual decks, like the sealed dual decks. they were above their value even. You couldn't even find like a Goblins versus Elves for $50 in retail price. Again, that's something I guess we'd have to check it at the vendors to see how much they go for and try to calculate how much this box is actually worth. But again, that is going to really just put a damper on the value of this product if this is going to be in Walmart, if this is going to be in all of your local game stores in mass quantities. And especially if they're selling this, say they sell this for $40 to the vendors, and sometimes Wizards does put that, it's more than like a 40 or 50% markup. They actually sell this for like $30, $35 to the vendors, and then the vendors mark it up to $99. And then what happens is then it doesn't sell, and then they mark it down to like, 65, 70. I know at my local game store, our modern masters, our modern event decks are not the $75 MSRP. We've reduced those because they were not selling, and we've reduced them to $60. And I know on eBay you can find them for like 52 and whatnot. So I expect the same with this Commanders or this dual deck anthology, that it's not going to stay for $100 for long, that the price is actually going to dip, as you can pick these up on eBay and at your local game store for probably cheaper than $100. So who knows, it might be a decent pickup if you're interested in all these cards. Some of these dual decks are a great starting point for a Commander deck, but then you still have to fill in a lot of blanks here and there and whatnot. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this, at least financial. I'm going to try to do more financial videos in the future. I am making my move again in the financial market of Magic the Gathering. It was a good way to fund Grand Prix and travel expenses by just being on top of prices and actually making a bit of profit on each of my trades and buying and selling and whatnot. Anyway, this is Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.